Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's start our video with the tale about how being immature will get you in trouble and being nice gets you cool people. And remember, best revenge is when they have to pay for something they don't want to. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Blaming me constantly? Have fun getting in trouble. I'm going to preface this saying the maintenance man was here a few times fixing my AC, and I gave him cookies or whatever I had as a thank you, so we're on a name basis and friendly. I'm in a common dorm type setting in New York City. There's college students and interns for all places in the building. The room next to mine, it's around the hallway, but their back wall is my side wall, so from my bed I hear everything, is being obnoxiously loud until like 2 a.m. Screaming, laughing, knocking into the wall. I didn't do anything because, well, it's effing college and I'm not going to complain. The next day at noon, I'm making my bed and it bumps against the wall. I figure, it's a Tuesday, everyone's probably at class. I hear knocking on my door, slightly open, and the girl pushes the door open. Hi, you keep banging your bed against the wall and my roommates and I are trying to sleep. Keep it down. Thanks. I didn't really know how to reply because are you effing kidding me? So I just go, well, it's noon, so I figured everyone was up and shut my door. A few days later, I'm in the kitchen area, common area, cooking, and the girl comes up to me and goes, "You broke our wall." I blink and she rambles on about how there's a huge split down her wall and it's from me banging my bed into the wall and I'm going to have to pay for it. I go, there's no way that's from me. And she gets very nasty and is insisting it's from me because I bumped my bed on the wall and the split's from the inside and I have to fix it. I just walk away. And after I'm done cooking, I go to housing and talk to the dude. As soon as I say, they said I broke their wall. Dad told me to report it to housing to cover my bases in case they try to find me at the end of the semester. He cracks up laughing and goes, No, you didn't. Is this from room 1763? I told him it was either 1763 or 1762, but described what the girls looked like, and he said he knows who I'm talking about and he'll take care of it, and that I won't get fined. A few days after, I'm walking to my dorm and I see maintenance going into their room. I run into my bed so I can hear the details. I hear one girl go, and she banged the wall and it broke. Maintenance chuckles and goes, Tim, housing director, told me about that. No, she didn't. Kids have punched walls on their side and not made a dent to their walls, let alone to their neighbors. We've got noise complaints from this area, so it was probably people being rowdy in here. He patches up the wall with something, and as he's going, I hear him say something about the door. I hear the girl go, well, she has a sign on her door. They have a whiteboard on their door, which isn't allowed. I have a piece of paper taped up, and he goes, hers is tape, yours is peeling the paint off, take it down. So I walk by and see paint flecked off the door, another fine they'll have to pay. So from now on, I like to kind of bump the wall here and there, just as a little reminder that if you blame me for something I didn't do, it'll come back and bite you in the butt, and I'll keep annoying the crap out of you. Have fun hearing the walls go bump. And our second story. I certainly don't want to harass a customer. I work in health IT. Specifically, I assist people with getting into various patient portals to access their health information, make appointments, message doctors, etc. 95% of the people who call us are nice and often grateful when we're able to help them get back into their portal. Some start as frustrated, but once they see we're able to help them and get them what they need, they transform and become sweet as pudding pie. Then there's the other 5%. Oh boy. A note here that the company I work for is excellent. They put an emphasis on customer service first, but also have our back if there are any genuine issues with the customer misbehaving. Everything's recorded, so if there are any questions, quality assurance or management can go back, hear for themselves, and make recommendations as needed. All this leads to our caller for today. Mr. Douche was having problems getting into his portal. He calls me, literally yelling about how broken and garbage your system is, with a tone implying I personally picked the EHR and portal for a medical organization in another state just to spite him. Hey, no hurt feelings here. There are just some things I don't like about the portal either. But he continues on and on about how much he hates it, all his friends hate it, his neighbors hate it, his pets hate it, and so on. When I can finally get a polite word in, I ask him for his name so I can look him up in our system. He spits out his name, Bob Douche, per HIPAA. I also have to ask for 2 secondary identifiers to make sure he's the right Bob Douche. I ask for his birth date and the last 4 of his social security number per procedure. He rants about why can't I get him back into his chart now and screeches out the rest of his info. I try to find him in the system as he continues babbling angrily, and lo and behold, he's not in there. I politely ask him to spell his name. Geez, don't you know how to do your job? Turns out his name is not spelled like the normal douche, it's spelled something like D-O-U-S-H. I finally find him and open his file. So you can't get into the portal, sir? Yes, didn't I just say that? Okay, sir, I see your username is douchenozzle86. I can't look up old passwords, so would you like me to give you a temporary one? Screaming intensifies. I'm already in my portal, he cries in fury, completely contradicting what he said a mere seconds ago. I need help finding my information. I'm now holding my headset away from my ear in pain. If my cubicle neighbor had not been at lunch, I'm pretty sure he'd be able to hear this guy just as clearly as me. I'm sorry, sir. I thought you just said, don't you even know what you're doing? Well, sir, why do you keep asking me these questions? You're harassing me. Oh, well now, I can't be harassing my customers. That's just not appropriate. And against our company's policies, of course. Deep breath, clear voice. Well, sir, I'm trying to assist you, but if you feel I'm harassing you, then I'm afraid I need to end this call. The screaming had become unintelligible at this point, though I hear a couple of curses thrown in. Remember how I said our company has our back? If abusive language is used, we're allowed to disconnect after a warning. And I already had told him I was going to end his call. I'm sorry I wasn't able to help you, sir. Thanks for calling Patient Portal. Have a good day. Push end call. Per procedure, I immediately notified quality assurance of what had just happened in case the guy called back with complaints or started bellowing at other agents. QA listens to the call and comes back with, wow, that guy started angry and he never let up. You tried to help and you had more patience than I would have. You're fine. I went on to help many other lovely customers through the rest of the day. He thankfully never called back. I wouldn't be surprised to find he filled himself with so much rage that he spontaneously combusted, leaving a vacuum of bitterness behind in his place. And our last story. Entitled neighbor decides communal garden is now hers. Now, without going into too much detail, I live in Scotland and reside in what's called a tenement house. Imagine a block of flats, but smaller and older. Very common here. Anyway, all the tenements on my street have front and back garden. We own the front garden as it came with our flat, but the back garden is communal and is shared between all residents within our tenement. Now on to the entitlement. We have a neighbor who lives in the flat directly above us. We live on the ground floor. This will be important later. Now, this neighbor, who we'll call Ian, has always been generally annoying and kind of insufferable, always talking in a really slow tone as though you were inept. However, back in June, her head buttery ascended to a new level. Ian has always been into her gardening, which there's obviously nothing wrong with, but she started coming up with a plan to use the back garden for her gardening. Now, on paper, this was also fine. All she had to do was get the permission of all the other residents within our tenement, of which there were about 10. She didn't do that at all. In fact, the first we learned of her plan was her slipping a piece of paper through our door that outlined what she was going to do. Not wanted to do, going to do. The plan itself wasn't great, but it was by no means awful, so my mom let it slide. Fast forward 2 months when all of a sudden I come home, look out my bedroom window, which overlooks the back garden, and see not the raised wooden beds and terracotta pots that had been proposed, but 15 plastic laundry baskets filled with soil, 12 empty milk bottles in place of colored enamel tins, and a massive F-off compost bin. Safe to say, me and my mom were PO'd. My mom had a strong word with Ian about it, and Ian claimed she'd remove the milk bottles by the end of the week. I crap you not. The milk bottles weren't removed for nearly 3 months, all while serving no purpose as there wasn't anything in them. In the meantime, everything else she'd been trying to grow had died a rapid death, but she'd done nothing about it. During her milk bottle removal ordeal, Ian also dealt with one of the many soil-filled laundry baskets that now compete with rotting vegetation. How did she deal with it? Did she remove it and dispose of the contents accordingly? Of course not. This is Ian we're dealing with here. Instead, she tipped the basket up and over, dumping all the soil and dead plants onto the already overgrown grass, took the basket back to her flat, and just left all the soil as it were. How my mom hadn't snapped by this point, I have no idea, but credit to her. Over the next 2 weeks, 2 raised wooden beds were finally put in, but the plants in them also quickly died, and as of this writing, they're still yet to be dealt with. Ian also added this weird metal beam archway thing between 2 of the laundry baskets and attempted, failed, to twist one of the longer plants around said archway. It was hideous. However, a small, and I do mean small, dose of karma was just around the corner. If you're a UK resident, you'll remember Storm Arwen hitting a week or so back, and as a result of this, Ian's treasured archway was blown over completely, and as you would fully expect from Ian by now, is still to be dealt with. So here we are in December with an essentially trashed back garden. Laundry baskets with dead plants in them, raised beds with vegetation so dead it had begun to turn yellow, a crooked archway, an actual mound of soil, and overgrown grass everywhere. Also, since our flat is on the ground floor, as I mentioned earlier, our home value has almost certainly been damaged by this, which is even more problematic as we intend to move within the next few years. My mom says she'll be elevating it to a higher level if nothing changes by the time we do come to move. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.